Hey, everybody.
Hey, hey, hey.
Happy Wednesday to you all. Happy hump
Happy
day.
and hola.
We're back, guys.
We should do the show in all Spanish.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
I could do the show in Korean if you want.
There you go.
안녕하세요.
We'll ask you questions in Spanish and you answer them in Korean.
That'll work.
알겠습니다.
Wait a second. I know what that one meant.
It's going to be the shortest show ever.
Ajima. Come here, Ajima.
Ajima means auntie, or yeah.
It means the lady that brought the cokes up the mountains to us. That's what
Yeah.
it was.
How's everybody doing
Anyhows.
tonight?
Yeah,
I'm
how's
doing
everyone?
Texan.
Doing all right.
Good.
How are
Finally
you?
have a really nice warm day here in St. Louis, at least.
Oh yeah.
Supposed to be in the
hopefully-
70s tomorrow and Friday, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, 70s, mid 70s here all week, and lows in the high 40s and 50s at night.
Yeah.
We got a
But
coke
you know-
one tomorrow, though.
Winter's not over with yet. It's gonna drop again. We're gonna
So
More
my
down.
guy that I follow, just saying, Paul, that hypo extreme, you know who I'm saying? You know
yeah, I know.
what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He says our winter is over. We might get like another cold blast, but he doesn't foresee any more snowfall. We've had our snow for the year.
Interesting. We've had enough.
Yeah, we've had a lot of snow this
Time
year.
being, yeah.
And I like the snow, so I'm done with it. You know.
I do too, but I'm over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Once
sure.
they start playing games down in spring training, I'm done with it. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Anyway, yeah. So
Anyhows, yeah. Welcome everybody. As you can notice, Brandy is missing. Her presence is sorely missed, but she is unfortunately busy today. But don't worry, guys. You know, the show's still in good hands because we've got Krista joining us today.
call me Brandy.
Yeah. So it's okay.
You trying to get
Guys.
us in trouble?
We got Krista tonight. Krista, I
Yep.
believe this is actually your second time on this show, isn't it? Weren't you on
Yeah,
here
I
once
think so.
before? Yeah.
I was.
before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fun.
So
Looking forward to
anyway,
it.
yeah. I actually asked for you. Remember, we were planning this, and then Brandy was like, "Oh, I don't know if I can make it," and I was like, "Oh, we need to get Krista up in here." And we've got a special topic in mind because Krista, you and Brandy actually know this topic very well because this is kind of your neck of the woods.
Right.
And today we are talking about the true story of The Exorcist, or what the actual story that the original book and movie were based off of.
Right. Yep.
So,
Real quick though, can I say something?
Sure.
Before we
Yeah.
get on with business. So as a lot of you guys know, Brandy and myself and Paul, we joined a team called Haunted Souls. And we have doing events and things like that. So we have an event coming up March 7th and 8th. If anybody's interested, it's at the Emmaus Village in Marthasville, Missouri. And I'm
y'all
going to
going back
share.
there?
What's that?
Y'all are going back there?
Yeah, well, all three of us will be there.
Bring
Yeah.
evidence. Bring evidence. I need to
wait,
look
when
at
is it? When is it again? One more time, Krista?
March 7th and 8th. So tickets
Oh,
are
it's
on sale
soon.
now. And I'm dropping the link right now in chat where people can buy their tickets. There's a website. So anyway,
Haunted
that's all
Souls.
with the Z. Yes.
You know, Krista, if I were ever like a super rich man, you know what I would do? I would pay
What's
for you and the Haunted Souls team to fly out to Seoul, South Korea, because then it'll be Haunted Souls in Seoul.
There you go.
It'll be an event.
do it.
It'll be an epic event.
It would be epic. Yes.
They
So-
got haunted spots in Korea that you could check
Oh,
out.
sure they
Yeah,
do.
there are plenty. Yeah.
They
Oh,
do.
yeah. There's a bunch of woods up in the northern area, too, that are.
Apparently, if you have a country with a lot of dark history, you tend to have a lot of haunted locations. So we do
Yeah.
pretty well in that regard.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So just let everybody know, though, tickets are on sale, and you get to see Brandy, myself, Paul, plus the rest of the Haunted Souls team. So anyway, we have a good time, and there's nothing bad out there, none of that. You know, it's all it's just regular ghosts out there. So it's fun and it's active.
Well, speaking of events, guess what?
What?
We have a
Hey.
conference.
We got a conference.
Holy cow!
You.
This is getting more conglomerated by the second here, it looks like to me.
Hey, this isn't all my fault. Texas added people too, not just me.
Yeah. We got both culprits right here.
We're adding so many people that I can't read this anymore.
I can read it. Put your glasses on, Paul.
Well, I have one. That's a long story.
Well, I'll blow it up to full screen and I can read.
Yeah.
Well, let's see.
Let's see. But then I see
ahead,
you in full screen
Tex, you
text,
do
and
the
that scares
honors.
me.
Oh, okay. September 19th and 20th, Crossing Realms Conference, folks. UFOs, paranormal and cryptids at the Eagle. No, I can't read it.
See,
Evidently.
there we go.
Eagleton
You have to be able
Civic
to read
Center.
first.
Yeah, right. I'm telling you, tongue wrapped around your
no.
eye teeth. You can't see what
Trust
you're saying. Featuring speakers as Josh Hurd, Professor Heather Mosier, William Lunsford, Lady Ann Celine, Ronald Murphy, Dr. Dean Burcham, Greg Ogles, Frank and Dan from Haunted Garage, Sir
No,
Brian
they're haunted
Bowden.
souls. They're our teammates. They're
What?
the ones that's bringing the
They're
haunted
haunted
cars.
Yes, they are bringing a haunted car.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Michael
And-
Ramirez, Miguel.
There you go.
He's gonna shoot me.
Told
Miguel
you.
Hey, Krista said she wanted me to read this. Miguel Ramirez, Sasquatch Theory, Martin Groves, of course, and we have special guests lined up as like Ken Gerhardt, Dana Stricker, Brent Thomas from the Paranormal Portal, Ryan Edwards, Mike Familia, Chris Garantano, which will be showing his film Friday night, Linda Eastburn, David Glidden, Danielle Stedman, which is the first person I ever shared my encounter with, folks. Dale Boswell, if you want country music and country music and Bigfoot, that's your guy right there. And our latest addition to special guest is Donnie Cho.
Yes, and I'd like to thank y'all for having me. I'd like to extend my appreciation. Thank you
You're
for
funny.
inviting me.
Well, first off, I've got to say, Donnie, it's y'all, not y'alls. Okay,
That's how we say
Y'all.
it in Jersey.
y'all. Well,
No,
that's
you
the
say
problem.
use in Jersey.
Yeah.
See, that's the
You
problem.
got
Y'all
it.
trying to speak Texan up there in Jersey. It ain't happening.
And no,
This is sponsored by Doug Highcheck, the Monster Quest producer, Hanger One Publishing, Curious Realms podcast, and Pair with a Norm. We also have a gallery reading after the conference on Saturday. Saturday night, we have a ghost hunt, which is sold out, but they are giving ghost tours during the day, so you can still get your tickets for that. Friday night, we have Miguel Ramirez speaking to us. We have, is it Martin?
Movie. Is
Martin Groves is on
No,
Friday
Martin-
night.
Yeah,
And
Martin
then,
Groves is going to speak Friday night, and then Christopher Garitano, of course, going to do his film screening.
Yep. So it's going to be great,
Yeah.
and it's a benefit for the Ray County Museum. So,
Mhm.
it's for a good cause, and so the money is being well spent.
Yes.
Yes.
It's our history, and if we don't have it, then it's gone, So we have to help preserve our history. So, yep.
Sounds good.
Anyway, yeah. So it'd be
All right.
fun.
All right.
Yay.
All righty then. Okay, so the Exorcist case, the story that the actual movie The Exorcist was based off of. Krista, I'll give you the floor. Why don't you bring us on this journey? Why don't you start us on this ride? Tell us about it for people who haven't heard of it or who only know about the Exorcist movie and don't realize it was based on an actual story.
I feel like we need some spooky music underneath this, actually.
Yeah.
It started in the movie The Exorcist. As you all know, most people have seen it, or if not seen it, they've heard of it.
Mhm.
And it was started with a girl, but in fact, it was not a girl; it was a boy.
Mhm.
And it started out that the boy lived in Maryland, and
Yep.
him and his grandmother, I believe it was, would do the Ouija board. And,
I think it said it was his aunt, but yeah, he did do the
Maybe
Ouija board.
aunt.
Yeah.
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 Some relative. anyway, they would do the Ouija board, and not long after she passed away, I know he continued to do the board, and he started having issues up in Maryland, and it got so bad that the word Lewis was scratched into his stomach along his rib cage. And so he had family in St. Louis, so they took that as a sign to take him to St. Louis for help. Aunt Tilly, hey, you should hop on with us. I don't know if it's Frankie or Dan that's
I don't know.
We'll
Go with it either way.
Yeah, and his name is
Right here.
there you go, right there. Ronald Edwin Hunkler was his name. So anyway, it was, like I said, it was a boy. He said he'll pop on. I'm going to send him the link because you know what?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll send it to him. You keep going.
You
I'll
keep
send him
talking.
the link.
There we go.
Okay.
I got it.
All right. So
I love having subject matter experts around.
there you go. Well, he's right here in St. Louis too, so studied all of the. It's Frankie.
Cool.
Send it to Frankie.
Yep, got it.
Okay. So anyway, so fast forward, they have their family here in St. Louis, so they bring him here to St. Louis.
Oh, real quick, it was 1949 is when it mostly popped off.
1949. Yeah. And so they get him here, and the families lived at the house in Belnor, which we can talk about at the end because it will play into part in a little bit. So it's in Belnor, Missouri, which is like a suburb of St. Louis. And well, there you go. He posted the dates, May 10th, 1948 to 1951.
Frankie, I just sent the link.
Yeah. I should probably wait for Frankie because he can help me with this.
Yeah.
So let him come on and talk about it.
May of 48 through 1951. That was 3 years that they did this.
Yeah.
This was a huge case, and once they got him here, they had priests come and look at him. I know Father Bowdern, Bowdern, however you pronounce that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the main exorcist, and then he had an assistant who was Father Halloran was his assistant, and then there was another father that was a witness, Father Faherty, Faherty.
I thought it was Flannery.
Flannery, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And anyway, so like the boy, they said that like the bed would levitate and things were being thrown around the room and all kinds of things. So they ended up taking him to, which was the original Alexan Brothers Hospital in St. Louis. And the Alexan Brothers Hospital is no longer hospital. It was actually that wing of the hospital where the boy was kept at was tore down, and it became the South City Hospital. And right now, where the part that the building was on that was tore down, where the boy was, is now the parking lot.
Can I show the picture of the hospital? We have it up here, right? Sure. There it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. Yep, the old hospital. Yep. So
there he is.
There he is.
That's Randy.
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 What
the
hayseed are you doing here?
I got home early.
There you go.
I was hurrying home because I was like, I got a chance to be on. I'm in a hurry.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway,
Frankie should be here soon.
yeah, Frankie's going to hop on too.
Awesome.
So anyway, so the boy, was taken to that hospital, and they ended up, I know that they moved him to St. Vincent's Hospital. I'm just going to kind of do an overview, and then we can go back and we can get in depth and more. Oh, there he is. So we'll just
there we go.
Hey, Frankie.
Hey, Frankie.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How are you?
Hey, Frankie.
Just tuned in. I didn't mean to do anything wrong.
No, you're good. I was going to say, we're here to tell the story, so let's tell the story, man. I know you studied it too,
Yeah, the case is definitely, you had it all pretty much right. Aunt Tilly, Ouija board started in, it actually starts in, it is a district of Maryland where he actually ends up retiring. He passed in 2023. I think he was around 87, 88 years old. He would go on to, after the exorcism, which lasted from 48 to 51. We
Yeah.
talk heavily about the 49 case because
Yeah.
that's what had happened in St. Louis. So it actually, there was a couple more occurrences that he had where Father Halloran had to once again battle this. They were Jesuits, so they didn't really have the rite or the ritual of exorcism. So they did a good job because they weren't fearful of the demon. So they were able to kind of get through it. And I think that from that standpoint, Jesuits that's not really their craft. The case is weird in the sense that the archdiocese doesn't really get involved, which, if you have a background like I do, they're looking for 7 stages of exorcism, 7, what we call the known. So the 7 weren't there. I think he had 4 legs of the 7. So he had incredible humans. He had incredible strength. He had the ability to spit in any direction he wanted and was very accurate. He spoke Semitic languages. The weird one was Ugaritic. So you're talking about ancient Samaria, Mesopotamia region. And then you had Aramaic, which was Jesus's language. So those 2 voices have been identified during his exorcisms. The town in which he grew up in, his father was not something that was apparent in his life, and would lead people to believe that it's possible that he was just trying to get attention. This is a huge part of the case in St. Louis up until they invite Washington University out, and Dr. Bubb comes up, who at the time was a physicist, astrophysicist. He was brilliant with mechanical engineering, and they said that there were things that were levitating in the room. And so naturally, at this point in time, paranormal is not a pseudoscience. It's actually looked upon as a possible entryway. It would soon lose its steps, of course, with reality TV in a couple years to come, and other cases like the Fox sisters broke it around the 30s that they were faking it because they had double jointed ankles. So this is a pivotal time for science to still be involved. Washington University, although they will deny it, has a parapsychology program. It's one of the best in the world. They have levels of machines. So this is where these guys were coming out of. They go up to the house, and I think they lasted a total of 60 minutes because they saw that thing rise and fall, and they were like, yeah, I can't explain that. But the strange thing about it is Krista and Brandy will tell you, if you've gone to the neighborhood and when people know that it happened in St. Louis, you could just put them in the front seat of your car and not tell them what house it is. And 9 out of 10 times, they will tell you what house it was. The house has this weird energy, and it just doesn't look like anything else on the block. And these are cookie cutter homes. This is a developer.
That is the house.
Yeah. And see, that portal window is a closet. So that window right there is an actual closet. Like, who puts a window in a closet?
Right.
The one in the center, you mean, or the one?
The portal,
the center one.
Yeah.
Window.
Okay.
It's the. I know, Chris, you guys have been inside it.
I have not been inside it. I've been on the outside of it.
So
Yeah, I haven't either.
My buddy, he was an engineer. Nick used to own the place. And I heard now that it's owned by somebody that's just as equally cool and is allowing people to come back in. I don't know if he wants to do investigations. He doesn't want to stir shit up, but I think that there's a level where he is. But yes, I mean, you had, when they go to the etching of that Lewis thing on the stomach is from the inside out, not outside in. So it literally raises in his stomach. During the filming of The Haunted Boy, which was done by the Booth brothers, which a lot of us are friends with. On the filming of that, old Greg Myers, who used to run a team called PTF, was there, and they have it on camera. Once again, we're seeing this thing come out of his neck, and it's
I saw it. Yeah,
and if you've seen that part, it is awful. Like, and it's happening right on camera. Like, and anybody that knows Greg doesn't fake stuff. I mean, he's a lot of things, but he doesn't lie. He didn't fake that shit. And they put a FLIR camera at one point on it, and the basically temperature reading on the side of his throat was ridiculous.
And not only that time, but also another time when Greg was back there at the house and did the Ghost Adventures episode, he also got a scratch on the back of his neck on that
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, because he wasn't wearing. He has protection stuff. He has like Catholic, the crucifix, right? So the Catholics wear a very different cross than most Christians.
Yeah.
Catholics never forget the death of Christ, so we always
Right.
have him on the crucifix. That is the only cross that works with demonic entities. They must be shown the sign of Christ. It does not work on just a regular cross. It should always have the. We actually just did an episode with June Lundgren last night, who was a demonologist and a demon.
Watched it. It was good.
Yeah, so I mean, we didn't even get into the case, but man, I'm sorry, Donnie, we got to backtrack because you're kind of getting the whole scoop on it. But yeah, so from St. Louis, they go to the house where his sister lives. Her sister lives, and they stay there. Aunt Tilly actually passes before a lot of this happens. And a lot
up
of
in Maryland,
people-
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they're
Dodge
kind of
City.
stuck there. Originally, it was a Lutheran. Once again, great religion. Love Martin Luther. Love what he was able to do with the Christian religion. At the same time, not ordained, and that didn't work. And so when they saw St. Louis, they saw how Catholic St. Louis was. They enlisted the help of Father O'Halloran, and from that on, they were basically battling this demon. And this demon was a rough one. The cases, the diaries. There are 23 pages that somehow the Booth brothers got a hold of, and those are 23 pages of the actual diary and of actually all the events that happened. Father O'Halloran, before he died, would later do a radio show. And, Dave Glover actually is the guy that actually interviewed him. He talked a lot about the instances that happened. But from the house, it doesn't end in the house. They actually have to take him to a facility, and they go to the Alexian brothers, which I don't know if you guys know this, is abandoned now.
Yeah, 2023.
Yeah. The rectory of where the exorcism took place was on the 3rd floor, I believe. That building is no longer there. And when they interviewed a couple Jesuit priests and monks, it basically said that we had to stop the screaming. They couldn't stop the screaming after the original Exorcist. And the processes of bringing in an old priest and a new priest, a lot of the movie that Blatty wrote had a lot to do with that diary, those pages. And he really did follow that script pretty good. The thing about the head spinning, that's Hollywood. But the vomiting is true. The levitation.
So I was going to say the levitation. So is the crawling on the walls.
The crawling, the
walls.
crab walking and
True.
all that stuff is because he had this ability. I mean, at one point he does, the reason why they go to St. Louis too is because he stabs the actual Lutheran priest with a spring from the bed, and he cuts him pretty deep. And so at that point, he's like, this is way above my pay grade. So they do head out to St. Louis, and he would have his days where he was despondent, and he would have his days where he had better days. It wasn't always just a series of just this type of interaction with stuff. The haunted boy case is a famous case. And it is a coveted case in St. Louis. A lot of people tackle it and do it, but a lot of them get a lot of stuff wrong too. Like I said, the Archdiocese is not mentioned in this case. The craziest thing about the story, though, is after the Alexian brothers, they take him out here where I live to a retreat, which is now, it used to be an old monastery. Now it's a place where for kids, for after school programs, it's really cool. It's mostly for affluent children, but they have these really cool, and it's all the way up here. But this used to be like it was a designation for kids because he had these bouts for years. And finally, when they really thought that they had gotten this demon out, which was not the one mentioned in the film, and I will not mention his name either because it's
Nope.
You can recognize that. And you don't ever want to do that. You don't, even if you're reading these books, you never want to say the names of demons. You just don't. It's an ancient evil you don't want to mess with. That's why the whole demon clickbait stuff and these young kids doing Urban Explorer trying to look for demons, they're gonna end up finding what they look for, and it's not going to be pretty. I still heavily believe that Greg Myers got his strokes because of what he dealt with in The Exorcist House. I still,
You know,
I
I agree with you. And if you think about it, there were several people that went on that investigation that's in that movie that that has since passed away.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Tom's gone. And Tom was a part of that, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and Keith Age, I mean, look at what it's done to him, it seems like, you know,
Yeah.
and Sandy Oates isn't looking, you know, too great these days either. Like it's taken a toll on her also.
Yeah. I mean, Keith Age.
And has for some years.
Yeah. Keith Age got so sick, he actually turned into a nice guy.
We actually had Keith
Oh, did
Age
you guys
on the
get
show,
that?
and
He loves me. He loves me. Yeah, he loves me. So
Well, there's a lot of people in
I
this
can see
world
where
that don't
you're
like
saying
us,
that.
but like her.
Exactly. Right. We get it, buddy. No, I think that when you're dealing with this type of darkness, it takes a toll on your body. Exorcists have to usually hang it up. They got to be retired. Father Amorte was essentially a person that was the brother of Purple. I come from a line of exorcists in my family, from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, actually right outside Jersey. Most of my family's from North Plainfield and Cranford, right there in Jersey. So a lot of that side of my family is clergy, and I've made very, very good friends with Father Gary Thomas and talked a lot about this subject. And the subject of the St. Louis exorcism it's even controversial among circles in the church. When I asked Father Gary Thomas, and if you don't know who he is, they did a movie on him called The Rite. Anthony Hopkins is in that movie. And that's basically the life and tales of Father Gary Thomas, who would eventually, him and Malachi Martin are essentially one of the best of all time exorcists, in my opinion. In fact, the Warrens, all these movies about The Conjuring and all this shit. Here's my hellhound.
Krista, where's your
It
cat?
can't be a show without at least one animal. It's
I
got to
know.
be
Yeah,
one
gotta have a
animal.
dog. Have a dog or a cat.
So when you look at like Malachi Martin, a lot of the Conjuring films is not based on the Warrens. It's based on Malachi Martin's Hostage to the Devil. Those were his battles. That was their resident exorcist. The Catholic Church will never allow anyone to do exorcisms.
Right.
Are you insane? You were married with a child. You think that the Catholic Church is going to condone you to do that? That's not a thing. That's a lie.
Right.
And Father Gary Thomas has called that out numerous times. Malachi Martin eventually split from the Warrens because they started taking money from people. That's the number one rule in an exorcism. And actually, didn't you just post something about the guy that was being impersonated?
Yeah.
I did. I did. It was a priest who has said that he was hacked, and they were using his images and everything else to say that they would do exorcisms and all that for a price, for a fee.
Yeah, so
I
that's
thought,
malarkey.
I thought that was just outrageous. You can't do that.
No, you can't. Demon seers can't either, and they know it. Usually, if you're paying for this type of stuff, in most cases, it's scam. It's a fraud. I mean, you cannot accept. That is the biggest. Jesus Christ talks about hell more than heaven. Okay, here comes my 2 years of seminary and 4 years of theology. He will talk more about hell than heaven, 62 times, in fact. And in that, the thing that he targets the most about demonic possession is the love of money, greed, which is why the Catholic Church will take donations to the rectories, the archdiocese, but the priests cannot take anything. In fact, when the movie The Rite came out, Hollywood had, Father Gary Thomas on set. They really made him a part of that film. Him and Tony are still very good friends, Anthony Hopkins. And when they flew him out, he says, is it possible that you could buy this for us? Because I can't use any of the money from the production. And so the whole Hollywood crew flew him out and his family, and they went to the premiere of it, and he didn't spend a dime. I mean, Father Gary Thomas is one of the most holiest persons that I've ever met in my life. When he talked about the St. Louis case, he was kind of baffled a little bit by the idea that in most cases, the Catholic Church will hide the victims of it. So recently, and I hope they probably will see this, I have very good friends over at Blumhouse, and I'm kind of like this loose consultant for them because I know so many interesting people in this industry. And they called upon me and they said, hey, can you get us, NBC wants to do this whole thing with the new Conjuring film, the new Exorcist film coming out. They want to do a full, like, 4-episode thing about somebody that was possessed. And I told my contact over there, I love you guys. I will try, but I can tell you right now, the Catholic Church will never give up a name of one possessed. They will not.
Right.
Nope.
So I reached out to Tony Pickman, who Tony and Deb in the beginning of it they were okay with the idea, but they had gotten burned so bad by TV before that eventually it was just left this sour taste in their mouth. Eventually what happens is that the Catholic Church basically said, hey, we get what you're trying to do, but there's no way you're ever going to find or get, and we will never release the name of a victim. If they want to come forth on their own, that's fine, but the church never releases their records on that stuff. So what happens is this culmination of when you look at the St. Louis boy, okay, the haunted boy, this interesting thing happens where Ronald Edward Hunkler's name gets released, and he actually goes on this last place where he'll be, which is up the street here. He tries to take his own life. But Father Halloran, who was still a very young man at that time and played football in college, was able to leg him down and tackle him before he jumped the bluff. Wow. Now, that was the last intercession of the priest, to our knowledge, that he never really had a battle with it. Ronald Edwin Hunkler has talked to 2 people about the case. One is Tony Pickman. The other one is me. Me and Jeremy talked to him in 2021. And we were just fishing. We didn't want to put him on camera or anything like that. I ended up doing the call. It was about 15 minutes long. I asked him some questions. And I just remember this interesting thing that happened after it is that Ronald Edwin Hunkler, if you do the legwork, he has 5 heat shielding patents with NASA. He was brilliant. Wow. He was a savant. He
actually worked on the space shuttle that
the Saturn missile
Challenger.
And this is the haunted boys who we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Because he just passed away, you like said, in 2023.
2023, I believe he passed. He was like 87 or 88, so he was pretty up there.
Lived a long life.
Yeah. And
he was in Cottage City, Maryland. Was the name of this.
About 20 miles away from where I'm at, actually.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
really, Donnie?
So his childhood friends, one is still in the area, has a blog, or had a blog. I don't know if he probably turned it into a podcast now, but he had a lot of in-depth information. Sorry, she's exercising a demon right now. All right? Get it. Yeah. All right. So the one childhood friend had these interesting stories about Ronald is now I can only go by what he wrote. I don't know that I necessarily believe everything I read, but he did say that he was great at pranking his friends. He was not the nicest of people. He would hurt animals. He had that as part of his kind. He would string up cats and beat them and stuff like that. A lot of his friends were diverted from this type of actions. After that, Aunt Tilly, I think who he grew closer to, got more into the dark arts. And what you put into those devices is what you're going to get out. We can almost guarantee that if you are looking for demons, you'll find them. Which is why we have rules when you ghost hunt with us on our property. Like, we don't do that shit. We have a couple rules: no drugs, no alcohol, no sex, no conjuring demons. Okay. And we mention all 4 of those things because we've caught all 4 of those things happening at our events. So, and the biggest one, of course, is the Ouija board. You just don't mess with that stuff because a lot of times people don't know how to close these portals off, right? I mean, you're opening something up and you're not closing it, and it's just like, oh, it's free fall. We learned a couple things. It's nice to hear from other people. I actually didn't have any debate with June. I actually was very aligned with what she was doing. But when you look at the case in 1949, you don't have the internet, you don't have social media. And so the case is kind of this under wraps type of idea. There was a couple, maybe 1 or 2 articles that actually dropped in the Post-Dispatch about it. So it's funny how somehow Blatty gets all this information about this case that at the time that he's writing this book, 25 years later.
Right.
Right. So this is an interesting perspective that, man, did he really write? And we have the book. We have a couple different books. I know Linda Blair. She signed an album for me. She's done stuff with Stray Rescue, and she's a very, very wonderful person. But even herself will tell you that set was just asking for it.
I've heard that.
Yeah, I mean, her mother, who was a real big time actress and model, broke her back in that film, and she was never the same. The fact that she made an appearance in the last Exorcist film was pretty incredible to me. I mean, Linda Blair actually makes this interesting appearance, cameo toward the end. The film was terrible. Blumhouse did it, and I let them know all my feelings on how bad it was.
Oh yeah, I saw that movie. It was pretty. Yeah, it was pretty god awful.
It was bad. So they're doing the second part of it. Do you lose people in exorcisms? Absolutely. And that was the biggest fear of the St. Louis crew, is that they really thought that they were going to lose this kid. I mean, he wasn't eating. He was genuflecting like he could break his own back. Today, after, what is it, the Elisa case, where she actually was not possessed and the parents and the priests were just totally deceived by something, she actually dies. They are held accountable. And then so from here on out, you bring a medical doctor in, you bring a psychologist in, and you bring a priest in. And so the exorcist, as Father Gary Thomas will tell you, is the biggest skeptic in the room. And the hardest thing about exorcism and possession is that demons aren't stupid, right? But some of them want to battle priests. Some of them want to battle people. And that's what makes it interesting. And I think that people, well, if a demon's so ancient and smart, then why would he just give it up like that? Because he wants to. You have to understand, you're talking about rivals. You're talking about the seed of a realm that exists. It's not something that you're going to find necessarily in the Bible, because the Bible was Greek. You have to go back to the Old Testament writers. You have to go back to the Semitic languages to understand like what realm you guys are talking about. You're talking about a realm that defies physics. It defies gravity. It defies things that in our world doesn't make sense to a lot of people. Like when we talk about, when Randy or Donnie or Paranormal Paul or Krista and Brandon, when we're talking about portals and vortexes, people look at us like we're from Mars. But it's in the ancient text. It's in the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's called fissures. Like that's a real thing, So yeah, these things have this way of transferring their energy. And I think that house in St. Louis, I think to this day, there's something, it's just a loose vortex. It's a loose point.
Well, I'll tell you what else I find interesting is that Nick, when he bought it on 6/6/2006.
Wow. Yeah. He said that in the movie too.
Yeah.
He said that in the documentary. It was quite, I was sitting there watching him as he's talking about it. He kind of seems a little standoffish at first about it, but as they keep going on, and you notice he kind of warms up a little bit more and more as they go along. And it's like, oh, wait, he's seeing that this is actually could be
well, he knew it was
a cool thing.
He got it.
That's what he said. That's one of the reasons he was drawn to it, he said.
Yeah. And it was advertised as Satan slept here.
Yeah.
Right. I've got two questions. One is for Donnie. Donnie, how does that make you feel that it only happened started 20 miles from you? How does that make you feel? And do you know where the location of that house is?
Cottage City? No, I'm not so familiar with Maryland like that because I'm not originally from Maryland. I only moved here like a few years ago. So yeah, even though I live here, I'm not like tied to, I still need GPS if I want to drive like 10 miles anywhere.
If you want to drive 10 miles.
But again, I grew up in New Jersey near New York, and yeah, we got some stuff there too.
Yeah, we've talked about that. We've talked about, but how does that make you feel? I mean, you're talking about one of the most talked about stories of demonic possessions started 20 miles from where you are right now. How does that make you feel?
I think, Donnie, you should do a drive-by by the house and send us.
I think you should. It doesn't, see, for me, it's like, I don't know if it's so much the location, more so what Aunt Tilly was doing.
Right.
I mean, I feel like what they were doing to theoretically bring it all about could have been done anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Right. That's true.
It's a good point. I mean, it's mostly sometimes when you're looking at stuff like that, you have to understand too, right where you guys are at. I mean, you're going to face a bunch of different wars, right? You're going to face the Colonial War. You're going to face the Civil War. I mean, Maryland is in the heart of all of this. This is the North. This is the South. Yeah. You're dealing with a lot of death. You're dealing with a lot of interesting things, and you're also dealing with a lot of Indian tribes that were slaughtered on their graves. And so a lot of times people do believe, to Donnie's point, that it is the land is where these things. That's what Demon House essentially. It was the land. It wasn't the house. It was where the hell the thing was. So I think it's both, though. I think that if you're conjuring stuff, right, and I think it's a double whammy if you're getting possession. Right. Possession is actually not an easy task. I mean, full on infestation. I mean, you're doing a lot of wrong things. I mean,
right.
It's
Cottage City back in the War of 1812, its nickname was known as the Dark and Bloody Grounds because it was a big dueling spot, and there was just a lot of gnarly history that happened. I was just looking it up because I was like, I remember there was some weird history about Cottage City itself. And
you got Andrew Jackson, too. I mean,
Maryland is a weird place overall. It's like a state that thinks it's in the South, but it's in the North.
Yes. Yeah. It actually mirrors St. Louis in the idea that Maryland and Baltimore, you have St. Louis and St. Louis County. And it's run the same exact way, where the city controls the city, the county controls the county, but they don't intercede. And that's why outside of Baltimore, Maryland is really nice. Inside Baltimore, the crime is outrageous.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But they do have great. I do love Maryland. I love the Baltimore Orioles. I've been to Camden. I've been right on Gay Street. I mean, I've been to, I love that area. It's one of my favorite areas because the
Inner Harbor all day long.
Yeah, we got great crab.
In general,
yeah, you do.
Good seafood.
Really,
well, no, we legitimately do. I mean,
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, the other question I have, and Frank, it's basing it off of what you said about how some demonic entities want to battle with priests. They want to have that fight, and there are some theories out there that have been kind of tossed around, and some by the family members of these priests that were involved in this, and they're saying that perhaps the boy was not the original target. Because we know that a demonic entity is methodical. Mm-hmm. They're patient. They will plan things out just to, make these things move. Okay. Hang on. We'll get to it in 1 second.
All right.
We'll
we got to play it. Hold on.
Donnie Cho, meme of the week.
All right, Frank. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but we have a segment in the middle of each show called Meme of the Week. I've prepared two, actually. Based off the theme of this show. The first one here, Brock Lesnar, do not challenge him at wrestling. And then Reagan's just very matter-of-factly, just like, I regret my decision right now. She messed up. She messed up bad. You don't challenge Brock Lesnar. I've been going on a pro wrestling kick lately, guys.
Actually, we can tell.
Lately?
We can tell.
What do you mean lately?
No, I've been listening to a lot of Undertaker's podcasts lately. I've been obsessed with that show.
I'm the one that pushed you on that one.
Yeah,
he
he's
is
awesome.
Phenomenal.
What anyway,
right.
Okay,
and
the next one, pineapple pizza. It's gross.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm with
I'll
that
have
one.
to disagree with that.
All day long.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
That entity is not a fan. Not a fan.
Somebody please go get Gordon Ramsay so he can set all y'all straight. Pineapple does not belong on pizza.
That's a high.
No, thank you.
If you put jalapenos on it, it does improve it.
I heard that
Jalapenos
actually.
improve everything though.
Yeah, jalapenos improves everything.
Jalapenos? Yeah, we like them.
Yeah.
Kind of takes that sweetness out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You can also fix the problem by just removing the pineapples. I mean,
Agree.
it's a roundabout solution, but
yeah. That's
Never remove
that's,
before.
yeah.
that's
Oh,
right.
Jason would
at,
be so
Randy?
mad if he was listening to this right now. He'd be like,
Don't care.
yeah. He'd be so
Well,
mad.
there it is. There it is. All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
That was
What
a
were
great
you-
one.
what
I
were
like the
you saying?
pineapple one. I really like the pineapple one. That was cute. You need to show that to Monica. Anyway.
I'm sending it to Jason later. Yeah.
But, I mean, we know that demonic entities are methodical, that they will plan things out. That's all that they have time to do is just plan these things out. So that's why this theory kind of sounded like it could be the real deal, because even family members of the priest were saying, okay, this boy is in Maryland. Okay. So then Lewis was etched on his stomach.
Right.
And just so happens that this boy has family members in St. Louis where these priests are located. Do you see where I'm going? How all of these steps could be trying to get the priest, but he's got to go kind of like around the way to come back.
Oh, he's trying to pick
to
a
get
fight.
to them. Yeah. So they could start this big old fight. And it's kind of like the entity knew that it was going to take time to take control of this boy and to do all the things that it needed to do to catch the attention of the priest.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you guys think about that theory? I mean, do you think it's possible that one of the priests were the primary target and not the boy? And that, because the priests were swayed in their faith, or, you couldn't put a dent in it. So it kind of lost it kind of lost the battle there.
Yeah, Halloran never really goes into. I don't think that Halloran ever faced off again. I don't think he wanted to ever do an exorcism again. I mean, he got locally famous after the movie came out. Come to St. Louis, you can check out the diary. You can read all about every print that was ever done on it. But
so
I think
isn't the one of the crosses or something that was used during it down at the St. Louis City Museum?
Yeah, so in City Museum, it was the cross of basically the building where it is. That's why that part of the City Museum is where all the kids get injured. It's where the cross actually sits. Is that part of the museum? It's either that museum's kind of a death trap when you look at it. But
especially if you're claustrophobic, yeah.
Oh my God, like rebarb everywhere. Like, this is for kids. What? But
right.
Yes, the actual cross that was on the steeple of the rectory where they did the third part of it before they sent him to this retreat. Because there's the Alexian brothers, and then there's actually tale of another hospital that was involved. You guys ever heard that?
St. Vincent Asylum.
Yeah. So, they were, because they didn't know at that point. They didn't know if the kid was nuts, if he had a nervous condition, if it's a possession. They were all over the place with it, and they wanted to remain in the Catholic helm. So, there's a crack. So where this rectory and part of the building was, that's now raised, where the actual last exorcism took place, the whole place burned down. They raised the buildings, and before they did that, they cleared out the third floor, and that's when they found the desk that was Father O'Halloran's, and that's where the diary was, inside that desk. And it fell out when they were moving some of the furniture on that floor. The janitor said that when he walked into the room, 2 black cats had exited the room. So a lot of people,
you're right. And they also said that when the movers went in to move the bed and the desk, like the people wouldn't even go in there with them. Like the priests and the nuns, like they wouldn't touch the door, they wouldn't open it, they wouldn't shut it, they wouldn't do anything, nothing.
Yep. There is a story about one of the brothers got possessed at St. Louis University. I don't know that there's any water to that story or it holds water, but there is a story of that. There's actually a very dialogued case about it that is within the realms. If you're in St. Louis and you read the case from the library, it talks about the other one that might have occurred after. I kind of side in this idea that, yes, Brandy, I think that this particular spirit was after something that they wanted to gravitate toward or possess. I think that was more likely the case. Remember, too, that they send minions in, and the more ancient arc of the demon is going to hang back because they don't really want to be bound to the cross of Christ, right? That's what happens in an exorcism. And then the last thing that I'll point out is Halloran performed both rituals. So there's 2 rituals. There's the rite of exorcism and there's the ritual of exorcism. Rites of exorcism usually occur with a disembodied person. So somebody that's dead that hung around that possesses somebody because they're confused. Usually the rite of exorcism is given. When it's demonic and ancient, it's the ritual of exorcism. And I think that the first couple times they did it with Ronald, it was the rite of exorcism, and not until they did the ritual, which is something that Father O'Halloran talked about and said, man, this is something that I had to kind of learn as I was doing it. He wasn't scared. That was the thing about him, is that, and if you met him, and the guy was a brute, man. I mean, he was a real football player, and he wasn't scared of anything. And I think that is what, at the end of the day, made him have victory. If the case is an actual legitimate possession, you gotta caveat that. But yeah.
So now in the documentary, O'Halloran was the first one they talked to, the older gentleman that had his issue with speaking, I guess it was.
At that point, he had a stroke, I believe.
Yeah, and I know they wheeled him out, and they were talking about his state of health was getting a little
declining,
worrisome for them to even talk to him, really.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing about the Booth brothers, man. I mean, if they want an interview, they'll get it.
Oh yeah. Oh no, they were more willing. He was more willing to do it, but they actually, it sounded like the Booth brothers were more concerned for him to do the interview. So I mean, it just, hearing him talk too, and the way he talked about what went on and stuff, it really made me think this guy really wasn't happy with the way it actually ended up either, though.
No, he wasn't.
So
Father O'Halloran, to his dying day, never believed that they bound the demon.
Okay.
Right? So when you perform a ritual of exorcism, the precedence that you set is what June said yesterday, who's not a Catholic exorcist, but she's right. You cannot have any fear. That's why they have the highest dropout rate, because a lot of these priests go into it thinking it's bullshit. And then when they go to a third world country where this happens every day, because once again, they are not a first world country. We're not distracted by distractions distracting us. The demon finds us in other ways. Hell, in this damn friggin' world, you could basically choose to be a Satan worshiper and go to church and everything. So in other countries where people are more oppressed and the governments are third world, these settlers and South Americans and Haitians with the voodoo, and they get caught up in this stuff. So that is where a lot of exorcists are sent. They're mostly sent in third world countries. You don't hear about it a lot. The last major case was here in Gary, Indiana with Demon House. And even that case is very sticky because the archdiocese wouldn't get involved. They didn't believe it. The kids just didn't have enough for them to really actively get involved. But the priest there, the local priest, actually helped and did the best he could. But even on camera, he said he was scared shitless, and that was just not going to go well.
Nope.
And so them walking into it as warriors of Christ, it's still a Horcrux, regardless if you get it bound or not. Something like Father Malachi. If you haven't read about one of the best exorcists in American history, it's Malachi Martin. Now, he gives up the collar, but it's not because he is not celibate. It's because he doesn't believe in Vatican II, and nor do I. Most Catholics do not. That's why, I feel terrible about Pope Francis. I hope that, he finds his right way, and I hope that, he passes on gracefully. He was a pope, but we are waiting for the next one to come in line and get rid of these apostasies and everything. Catholics are excited in a sense that we might have the opportunity to put in somebody that we really like, which is Pizza Ball, which is literally one of his names is Pizza Ball. He's somebody that's young. He's a young priest. He believes in the old Vatican. And so there's a dichotomy that's happening also with the Catholic Church at the same time all these exorcisms are happening, right? So you have a fight within the church. The biggest fight with the exorcists at the Vatican is this idea that the Vatican makes money, that the archdiocese makes money on exorcisms. So they refuse to perform the ritual of exorcism. Now, I have a great interview where it's Father Martin Malachi, and he's explaining this to me, and it's all recorded. It's a beautiful 2.5 hour interview. Mm-hmm. And he basically says it. He's like, well, they're not wanting to do the ritual because the demon hangs around. and that demon's going to get the person again, and then more money goes into the coffers. And it's like, that's not our job. Why are we doing this? This was under Father Martin. But this was under Father Amorte too, which is very surprising when he spoke ill of them. But the thing that he does, and a lot of exorcists at the time, they came to America and they said, you know what? If we're going to do it, we're going to do it the American way. We throw out the rite. We always do the ritual. They started the School of Exorcism in Chicago. 7 priests started that School of Exorcism. And now, like when you're in seminary, they kind of want everybody to at least do a couple courses there to see if they're ample for it. The problem, though, is that the census right now, priests that are actually actively enrolled in one of the largest seminaries where Father Gary Thomas speaks, where he went to, and when he went to, his graduating class was 590 priests. His enrollment right now is 61 priests. So we're losing the battle. Yeah. We are losing the battle. And the problem is that nobody wants to, go into these dark arts, because once they send them overseas and they start seeing this stuff, it's like, oh man, this shit's real, dude. So Malachi Martin would eventually, but nobody was doing it, and Malachi kept doing it. He was just had a calling from God, and his friends were like, man, you can't do another one of these. You can't do another one of these. There's a beautiful movie that an Irish film company did called Hostage to the Devil. And Malachi Martin is in that film, and Malachi Martin dies in that film. He is killed. He is killed by a demon. And this happens, and it's not because of his fear. It's because he was just too weak to take it on. He's killed by a 5-year-old. It's a very sad story. It's a tragic story about losing, and you lose a lot. We don't talk about this. Mainstream media doesn't want to talk about this. We lose 2 in 10 exorcists every month to exorcisms.
Yeah.
It's a real statistic, and people die during these things. That's the unseen realm.
You were talking about, and this is true, I can attest to this because I have partaken in exorcism with Tony Pickman. And I know for a fact, you mentioned about, you show no fear. And the very first one I ever went to was with him and Kathy from the museum. We went with him, and he told me that you guys just got to understand how Tony is, though. He's not normal, put it that way. But we found where the demonic entity was hanging out. It was actually out in a shed, and it knocked Kathy and I over coming out of the shed at us. It was a whole other story. But Tony said that he was going to call it in, and he had me stand at a hallway, and he got my face, and he told me, he said, you remember, you show no fear. Your God's bigger. You show no fear. And by God, I did. I stood my ground, but I didn't see it, but I could feel this demonic entity. Like I could feel the breath on my face. True story. And I didn't show fear. And when he told me to move out of the way, I moved, and then he took over. But
Tony is also a different type of exorcist. He is a what we would call a Death Eater. He actually takes on the demon. He takes the demon in.
Watched it.
It's a very different way of, it's old Roman Catholic style where the actual priest takes in the spirit from the person. And they're able to absorb. They're slayers. They're demon slayers. And only certain people that have that calling can do that.
And hence is why, like I've talked about this when I did attend that one with him, and we talked about watching the invisible razor blades tear him up. And you're right, Frankie, that's what he was doing. It was literally spiritual warfare going on, and he was taking it on. He took it on, and I watched it, so I know for a fact it's honest to God's truth.
Yeah, Pickman is a blessing, and I know that he's kind of stepped away from paranormal again. I know they kind of reinvigorated it, and it was coming again, and then all of a sudden it like I said, it affects these people long term. We don't know necessarily what they're seeing. We don't know necessarily the toll it takes on them. But the crazy thing about it is that Hollywood tries to popularize this, and I love horror films. I threw 5 of them for St. Louis, right? Horror film festivals. But my thing is this is like this. It's not a good thing because they try to make a mockery of it, and the worst thing that you could do is mock demons.
Right.
And that's why the Catholic Church always used to warn people about watching shit on TV, like the live exorcisms and stuff. And it's a very interesting subject. It's very curious. But it also is very dangerous. I mean, it's something that, reading these Semitic languages, and once you start translating the Ugaritic or ancient Mesopotamian, so they would be in that Semitic range of Aramaic. It's scary and how threatening they are. It's a very dark world.
Well, do you think, okay, so do you think that the church is kind of backing off? Because, I mean, for what happened in 1949 received a lot of press.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it received a lot of press. But then when the movie came out, it seemed like people lost their minds. Like they were doing things on a demonic level, and they were not a demon. They were just doing this because they had a psychological issue or something like that. But nowadays, with the media being the way it is, because a story can get out in just a few minutes. I mean, it would be all over in just a few minutes. Do you think that they're kind of backing off of that because of, maybe the high profile case that it would become?
The Catholic Church hides their exorcist. They never reveal who the exorcist is in the archdiocese. They just don't. The reason is because when the films come out, they get 100,000 calls a day. And if you knew who the exorcist was, they would be inundated with, people just being scared. The second more interesting thing is that an exorcist in a denomination of a church, an archdiocese, that performs exorcism does not perform the exorcism in the same archdiocese. The exorcism, they swap. They switch to somewhere else. They do and then they come back to their home. They're pretty much hidden from it because of the popularity toward it, and the draw toward the demonic is well, you have to understand too. I mean, the demonic helped create us. We are part of them. So they are Elohim, okay, in the statutes of realms. They are the Elohim. They are mentioned in the English Standard Bible. You're not going to find a lot on demons and possession and stuff. You just don't. It's heard in passages and parables, but it's not something that the Bible's focused on. That's not the Bible's job. But they do make mention of evil spirits one time. They mention demons 3 times. It's not a big demon book. But when you look at some of those things, it just gets so convoluted with what Hollywood is saying. It doesn't take much for these entities to move you. It doesn't. Chris has been around it. I mean, I was on a deliverance team when I was younger. I mean, when I was in Haiti, for instance, right, one of the jobs that I worked with a Creole French black priest, and he was an incredible exorcist, just the strongest man that I knew. But you're down there and you're in these deliverance stuff, and it's like there's no way a kid could make that noise. This guttural growl that is, and then to watch the kid disappear and then appear somewhere else in the room is just interdimensional, like taking kids through portals. Like the kid was terrified.
Also knowing like the possessed, they know things about you that they shouldn't know.
That's right.
About everybody in the room,
That's right.
So you better make sure that who you're with.
Yeah, that's the big one. That's actually when the Vatican and the Archdiocese will get involved. That's when they'll get involved. You have actual thing. It's called the known. The leg is called the known. If you have the known with a possession case, that is a full infestation. That means that the person inside there ain't speaking no more. That soul has been surrendered to whatever entity it has. In those cases, it's very deadly. Because now the demon has full control. It could crack its own neck. It commit suicide. And you see a lot of that. The more you research exorcism, the more you'll see suicide. Suicide is right around the corner. Even when people have been exorcised. It is a weird statistic. I mean, I wear the mark even on my wrist. I mean, the semicolon on my wrist because of how many I've actually seen and have happened in this. It is a disgusting, but the Vatican needs proof. And that proof is when that priest is like, in his 60s and this young 13-year-old girl knows about, when he was in seminary school. Because it's like Krista said, they're patient. They wait. They watch. They choose their battles.
And once you went up against them, had I known this years ago, I never would have partaken in my first demonic case. Never would have done it. And little did I know, my first demonic case was way back with PTF years ago. And I never would have done that, but since then, and being around that kind of thing, I feel like you're marked, so they can wait, 20 years, 50 years, but eventually they will try to catch you when you're at your weakest,
Yeah, never acknowledge, if you're on a ghost hunt or an investigation, never acknowledge our dark entity. Never acknowledge it. Do not do that.
Another thing too that I have learned too, obviously you don't want to get personal, and for years and years doing all these events, people in the room say, can you say someone's name that's in the room, over a ghost box? Well, that's a no-no, because you're getting personal. You're opening the door. You're inviting in. So it's just things like that. Or people are saying, oh, can you touch my arm? Well, you don't do that because you're just inviting them in. You don't know who or what you're asking to touch your arm or say your name or,
yes. Perfectly, and that is 100% what I believe too. I mean, because the ghosts don't appear when we start talking to them. The entities are already there. They have already heard you talking to each other. They've heard your names. They've heard all of the stuff. You don't have to introduce yourself. They already know who you are. They've already been sitting around listening to you. Yep. So, they can choose to say your name at any given moment without even you asking it to do it. So that's why I don't get personal. If you're going to say my name, I didn't ask you to. I didn't ask you to.
Yeah.
I wasn't talking, I didn't provoke it to say it. So I feel like it's best just not to.
I would be absolutely terrible at an exorcism, by the way, because as soon as I went up to the entity, it would be like, hey, Donnie, I know your search history. And I'll be like, okay, I'm out.
I'm done.
Yep, I'm done. I'll be waiting in the car.
We all have hooks, man. That's the reason why, exorcists are different types of priests, man. I mean, these people are holier than holy because they just they can't, man. They're actually putting their self in the line of fire if they're weak, and that's just unfortunate because we've lost great priests to that. It's just you just never know. But a lot of times in that case actually was the case of the girl was in Maine, where Malachi Martin lost his life. It was in Maine. And there's footage of the child. And the scariest thing about that footage is that this kid is maybe 5 or 6 years old. And she is literally praying in the ancient Hebrew. Like just sitting there saying prayers in Greek. No way that is something that it's scary. And then you find out later, man, there's this weird look the kid gives the priest, and I think that's a reenactment. And the look was it was a very promiscuous look of a 5-year-old to a male. It was a very strange look to it. And they thought they had exorcised this child, but they didn't. It was ancient. And I don't ever know what happened with that case. I know an NYPD officer was on that deliverance team. He's actually in the film too. But it's a good film because it teaches you about how crazy these things get.
That they do.
But yeah.
So, all right. So I'm gonna switch gears just a hair. But what do you think about? We've discussed it among the paranormal show and tell team here. We've discussed about the supposable possession of children in Peru in the one school.
Mm-hmm.
What is your theory on that? I mean, do you believe that they were possessed, or do you think it was just mass hysteria?
It's a good question. But this
Who are these kids?
This comes back to the Salem witch trials. And a lot of people never look at the Salem witch trials the way they should. Because we always talk about the famous, crucible, but we never talk about the kids. And the kids are the ones that were the ones that got everybody killed.
Mm-hmm.
And this wasn't the only case of that, because the Salem witch trials are one thing, okay? And that's the most famous because it's written about more. But they had larger and more witch trials about 30 minutes north of Salem in Peabody, which actually has a much richer history of witches. But when you look at the case of the Peru and also South America, where he kills his sister, who's also a child, that I believe actually was central. I think it was Bolivia that happened in, so it was Central America. But when you look at the case in Peru, when you look at the case in Bolivia, you can get back to black-eyed kids. You can easily find this line between Salem witch trials, children exorcisms, black-eyed kids. Are they really kids? And we don't talk about it enough. I've written about it. I've done one podcast on it. But in my own community, we talk about Dogman all the time. Why? Well, Dogman he could be preternatural. He could be an actual living zoological discovery, a bipedal friggin' wolf. That's possible, right? Talk about Bigfoot a bunch. And then other cryptids like Mothman get a lot of topics, man. I've heard of one, and this show was 10, 20 years ago now, 15 years ago. And the guy was a reporter. He was the reporter for the newspaper, and it happened to him. He has no history of making shit up. He has no history of paranormal. He wasn't even into the paranormal. And he actually has one of the most scariest cases with the black-eyed kids. The black-eyed kids, once they infest, man, it's over. And if you look at the Salem witch trials and think, well, what if those kids that started this were actually black-eyed kids, right? Changelings.
Right.
And they are basically getting everything they want. They're getting all these people crushed and hung, right? Because we didn't burn in America. That's another common misconception. We didn't burn witches at the stake in America. That's a European thing. We hung, crushed, and drowned. And that particular case, I think more work has to be done, but what the hell are the black-eyed kids, man? And
yeah. No.
And where do you put them? You can't really put them encrypted. Is it more demonic?
Not alone. You could to a certain extent, but they just don't fit really anywhere.
They don't. And I think that's why a lot of people, and I don't know if you guys have heard about them before, any Paranormal Paul or Randy or Donnie, I don't know if you ever heard about the black-eyed kids, but
oh yeah, we did a show on here, yeah,
one of our first ones.
Yeah, and that is just we don't relate that enough to big cases that we've had where there's a lot of proof and evidence. You can interject them into a lot of different scenarios. Going into the Greenbrier case with the young child, the Bell Witch, right? There's an interesting parallel that I would advise anyone if they wanted to do some studying or research. I would like to see, because there are a lot of cases of the black-eyed kids that are pretty damning. And, some believe they're skinwalkers. Some believe they're part of that, so I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
I think we discussed them as being almost like harbingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like there's not a lot out there known about them as much as every other thing that we discuss. There's not a whole lot of information out there about them. But I think that there are other stories that have not been explained that they may say it's something else, but you're right. I think that the BEK kids, I think that they may be the cause of it. They may be the root in how it began.
They invited them. That's an invitation, right? Because that's the whole thing about the BEK. It's the invitation. Well, where else do we see that? Well, we see that in demonic possession. So there's definitely a link that we're not looking at, right? There's this one guy now that's claiming there's a frequency that he can get to where things fall out of the sky and he can make portals. And then there's another guy that says, he's developed a frequency where he can actually look through the light and see a totally parallel dimension. So I mean, we are spending too much time on drama in the community, and we're not spending enough time on the science. We need to start bringing it back to out of the pseudo and into the science realm. There's stuff here that we could discover, I think. So
Great. No, absolutely agree.
Yeah. I think I do think that we need to start looking over the obvious and start looking into the stuff that is just not as visible.
It's a shame that a lot of mainstream science folks, they look down on all this stuff with such disdain, you know?
they do.
There's like,
Oh, yeah.
ew, you're a paranormal person? Ew, get away from me.
Yeah. When some of the best
Yeah.
parapsychologists of all time were scientists. When you look at Harry Price and the work that he did with Oxford and London University in the turn of the century, I mean, Harry Price is this guy that, like, if you haven't read about or you haven't read Confessions of a Ghost Hunter, like, he spent 10 years at Borley Rectory. 10 years trying to gather evidence. I mean, that's the type of this guy. Harry Price had a special license that if you had a house or poltergeist in your house and it destroyed parts of your house, if Harry Price okayed it, you would get paranormal insurance, and basically they would pay for it. And that was actually, that's how like qualified he was in those types of cases. And I mean,
he's like a paranormal actuary. He's
exactly.
like a paranormal underwriter, actually.
He was so, and he was an incredible debunker. Even when he was at Rectory, when he first writes Confessions of a Ghost Hunter, he has not spent a lot of the time at Borley yet. He's going to go back to Borley, and he's going to live in Borley for like 10 years. And when you look at some of his history and some of his writings, he's sitting there like debunking stuff, right? Somebody's telling him a story, and he's like, well, if it was the 12th and 13th century, then the carriage couldn't have been black, because a black carriage was originated in the 1600s. It's that type of knowledge that he had, and the talcum powder and the candles, and he did use electric. He was one of the first people to actually use REM pods. He had developed all these types of skills and stuff, and like there was a scientific cause for it. There were full research papers, full academics that got behind it. The Stephen King book Rose Red is a phenomenal book that talks about the fall of paranormal. That's why Stephen King was going after that. And that's what he's mentioning. And even in the film, which is, it's a Stephen King film, so it's got a little bit of cheese to it. But the film really highlights how hard these guys were fighting for their departments. But unfortunately, I mean, they lose the battle. And Rose Red is such an important film for the paranormal people, because it does talk about our great fall. Like we at one point, we were in the room. We were on the phone. We were part of the conversation. Like, hey, we need to get this guy from parapsychology. We need to get this guy from, psychology, and let's figure this out, right? We have a phenomenon going on. And today it's just like, it's Zach Baggins running into a house asking if something scratched him.
Yeah.
We've fallen
the shirt off.
And then saying, get away from me. Get away from me. Get away from me. I mean, you go into the house asking them to come to you, and then he yells, get away from me. Get away from me.
You get, 28 Days Haunted, and the lady in the first episode was like, I need to get out of here. I'm like, it's kind of not the point of the show.
It's not going to happen.
Like they got the worst paranormal investigators ever to be on that show.
Well, you got to watch Ghosts in the Hood. That's Ghosts in the Hood. It's hilarious. It's awesome.
Yeah, we've heard about that one.
Yeah.
There is a film we watched. It was actually a comedy. It was about a ghost hunting team. It was a really funny film. And actually, me and Jeremy just wrote a short film. And it's about Annabelle. It's the Great Annabelle Heist. And basically, it's about ghost hunters that are at a Paracon. And they make their own replica Annabelle house. And their whole entire thing is to swap it to steal Annabelle. Oh, wow. The whole thing is a fishbowl. It takes place at a paranormal conference, and it's just really funny. But I've often thought, I mean, like, what if you did that? What if you just swapped it, It's the lengths that paranormal people will go to own those types of possessions and stuff.
Yeah.
Hear ya. Speaking of conferences, aren't you going to be at one this weekend?
I am at the most expensive paranormal conference ever. Yeah, it's
You are.
Missouri,
most
isn't it?
ridiculous prices. Like Dan had booked this last year. I had nothing to do with this. And you know how Dan is. Dan is always about, Kansas City, Missouri. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, we got to represent. And then I start looking into it. I'm like, Dan, dude, who is paying $175 to go to this thing when you're at Transworld with actors and studios in St. Louis for 4 days? It's $100 for Transworld, which is amazing if you love haunted houses.
Right.
They literally build haunted houses in the arena, and you get to go. It's insane. All these guys make all the animatronics for major haunted houses, and there's this huge Halloween convention going on. And I cannot believe it's $175 to get into this Paracon.
Well, Brandy and I looked into going, and that, the 175, I could kind of see that. However, that doesn't get you in anywhere. That gets you to sit at your table. That's it. So you don't get in with the speakers or anything like that. So, yeah, it was too expensive. So we opted out, which I'm glad we did, because honestly, who charges that? Like, the people who are doing that need to really, I don't know. We have just as many people coming to our conference, and our tickets are $35 a piece for,
which is very reasonable, and it's in the same town, and it's just, with vendors, which are going to be the same vendors, right? So it's like, it's just interesting to me. One of the reasons why I want to go is to see this guy's turnout. I mean, if this guy's having a major turnout, and this guy makes $200,000 on his first ever. This is also the inaugural.
Yes.
This is his first one.
Yeah.
Yes. What he's looking for. He's not even looking for the loss. He's looking for the win and then some. Is what this dude's looking for.
Yeah.
Well,
unfortunately, he made a bad decision to. Get excited about Trump's victory. And I think either he intentionally or accidentally posted a bunch of Trump victory stuff on his paranormal page.
Oh, no.
So they lost like half their speakers because, guys, you got to be, if you're in this industry, man, like I'm a conservative. There's no ends. My personal stuff is my personal stuff. But on my businesses, we're very inclusive, man. We want to create safe spaces for people to have fun and investigate. My politics don't play a role in the paranormal. Like, I don't really care. We're very libertarian when it comes to that. Like, we don't care what you believe in. If you want to have a good time, you're definitely safe here. We have all different members on our team too. So it's just like, why would you do that? And like, you just started seeing like these major players start dropping off. And Dan's like, I don't know about this Paracon anymore. I'm like, why? What's going on? And they lost Chip Coffey's sick, but Chip Coffey's very left. Like, if you don't know Chip, man, like, Chip is blue.
Way left.
Yeah. So,
I will tell you this: if you happen to see Dave Schrader, because I know he's going to be there.
Dave's going to be there.
Yes, you tell him the blondes and the boos say hello. He knows us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You go right up to him and tell him. I don't even care. You just go right up to him and say, "Hey."
Yeah.
He knows us. Hello.
Yeah, Dave is great.
Yes, he is.
Melissa, yeah. So
I thought it was the same guy. Do you remember years ago? You and Jeremy were at the conference, and then I came down there with Aaron Eck.
Yeah.
And Dave Glidden was there. I think
Dave was there.
Several people was there. Johnny Hauser was there.
Yep, Hauser's there. Yep.
Chad Lindbergh. So I thought that was the guy. I thought that was the same people who was doing this conference. I didn't realize this was somebody different and his first one. I had no idea.
I don't even think Hauser's going. Hauser's going to the other one, which is in October, and that's Strange Paranormal's putting that one on, and he's the one that took it from that. So that one that you're talking about was at the Masonic Lodge.
That's it. Yeah.
And that guy was really cool. He was an actual Mason, and he used to throw it. And they're not at the Mason Lodge this time, but Jason, I think his name is Jason, he's running that one. He said that the tickets are $10. They'll always be $10. It always was $10.
That's cool. Yep.
But he has everybody from Ghost Hunters. I mean, all his speakers are from Ghost Hunters. And, initially I was going to do his thing because he had initially reached out to me and Dan. We had invited him to a bunch of pro nights, and we're like, hey, man, like, we'd love to speak, And he's like, well, we have a lot of people talking about, like, Ghost. I'm like, that's cool. We're not talking about ghosts. We're talking about locations. Because who goes to these Paracons, right? People that investigate. So wouldn't you want a speaker to talk about that? So we went back and forth. We're still considering that one. It just really depends on how Rock Island goes.
When is that one?
Rock Island is October 4th.
See, that's when we have our Malvern Manor one.
Yes.
Event.
Yeah, which you, Paul, and Brandy can work under, Haunted Souls flag, and we'll definitely put it on the calendar of events. I mean, I've always wanted to do Malvern too. I've never done it.
You got to come to Malvern. It's great.
Wait a minute. So in the paranormal world, we're not allowed. We don't talk politics.
I mean,
no.
Oh man, I've done
But
a
it's
lot
not
of
even-
politics
I
on my
just-
show.
You're done
I just say
already.
no.
I mix politics and
Yeah, I
paranormal
just
all
say
the
no.
time on my show. Oh no.
yes.
Oh no.
That's Dottie Cho's show.
So Frank, my last politics paranormal show, I did an episode on who would win in a fight between Trump or Bigfoot.
Ooh. Well, Trump would talk his ear off. He'd probably walk the other way.
Yeah.
Trump would definitely probably talk his ear
Could
off.
be.
And at that, I did it with Jason McLean, our friend, and we concluded that Bigfoot would vote Democrat. I mean, not to say I feel any kind of way about Democrats. I'm just saying I think if Bigfoot had to choose like which side he would vote, I say he's a Democrat.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they
He seems
are
like a Democrat.
they are more on the tree hugging side. I mean, I think
Yeah.
he respects that more.
Yeah.
Or we're going to be
I
cutting down.
I think Dogman would lean more right.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, think about where he's
Dogman
at.
would lean more
Oh,
red.
he's in
Yeah.
Land Lakes. I mean, that's all red
Yeah.
there. Missouri.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay, that
Bigfoot's-
kind of
Bigfoot's
politics
kind
is
of a-
okay.
Yeah, Bigfoot's
This
kind of a
one-
tree hugger, you know? That's what he
He
is.
is.
He's a tree hugger. So, he's all chummy
Yeah.
with like Al Gore. They love trees.
I'm
They
going to
love
show you the
trees.
secret to the internet.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I think that
goodness.
type of politics is great. It's just when people
Yeah.
can't really mix your personal shit with anything,
Yeah.
right? Like
That's
there's a
why
lot
we
of
don't.
people
No, you can't
in our
do that.
community putting their personal shit drama on their pages. I'm like, what are you?
Well, one thing I notice about through Facebook is that people in the paranormal world, some are very right and some are very left, and you just
Yes.
gotta leave it. You just gotta accept it for what it is, man. There's no point in losing friends over it. 'Cause
No,
that's
and
silly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
I hate when it gets to that. I don't
Yeah.
want to not do somebody's show because I don't
yeah,
I don't like the way they vote. And I'm a
Right.
Gen Xer, so Gen Xers are probably two of my closest friends. I mean, I was a Democrat for a very long time. So I grew up in South Florida. So I went to art school and all that shit. And so, I always kind of lean more left than I did right. It's just, but it's that, right? It's just respecting people's choice. It's just,
Mhm.
that's who they are, man. We have so much more else in common than politics.
yeah.
I am not the biggest UFO guy. I think UFOs are demonic. I think they're demons.
Oh, you and Jason would get along real good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's a.
You need to put them two on a show together.
they would get
Yeah, I
along
think
real
so.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lean toward that. We have your buddy coming on, Mensch, coming on real quick soon.
Okay.
We're excited about him. He's intense, dude.
He's got
That's
it. He's got
intense.
his Dogman encounter. It's really
Oh, Matt.
it's scary, and he was just
Yeah.
a kid too.
Yeah, and
So,
so that's insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Tomorrow night, Brandy and I are excited. We have Miguel Ramirez, who will be one of our speakers at our conference. And he, if you guys haven't seen Sasquatch Theory on YouTube, you guys should go and subscribe. He's got a gazillion subscribers. And he puts
Yeah,
out
a
some pretty
gazillion.
good stuff. Yep. So we got him coming on tomorrow night. And then Friday, we have Frankie back, Frankie and Dan.
Yeah, Frankie's coming back with Dan.
But we're going to
so,
talk about some locations and there's a conference, not a conference, an event coming up. You want to talk briefly, really quick about that, Frankie, about that event?
Oh yeah, March 7th and 8th at Emmaus. It's opening weekend in Emmaus Village. If you haven't been to this one, this is an asylum. Actually, June Lundgren was talking about the most haunted places are asylums and jails. We're doing both this year, so it's great. We're doing the MSP and we're doing Emmaus Village a lot. That's our resident. So we're resident ghost hunters there. That's one of Haunted Souls' properties that's exclusive to Haunted Souls. So it's a really cool event. It's large. It's it's over 100,000 square feet. There's forests that are jam-packed with dogman. So you have cryptids, you have haunts, you have a bunch of stuff that's actually going on. at this location. The tickets are only $100, and it's gonna be beautiful for opening season for ghost hunting because the weather is actually gonna hold. So yeah, March 7th and 8th. Fridays surprisingly doing better than Saturday. Usually our Saturdays get more tickets. But yeah, we still have plenty of tickets left for both of those days. So if you guys do want to ghost hunt and you're in the area, this is.
But they got Dogman in there too.
Yes, they have a Dogman. Actually, Dogman Road. The property sits on Dogman Road. So
I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to go out there somewhere to intentionally get.
Let me tell you something. Our good friend Terry Mosby caught something on a EVP, and that is the sickest sounding thing I've ever seen. Whatever that was, I don't want to meet it. Like,
oh geez, yeah,
it's awful.
Is that the one that you played, Krista?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Frankie, just imagine there being there and hearing it.
Yeah, I'd be like,
we heard it for years.
Like,
we heard it for years.
Oh man.
The owners have heard that. We played it for them.
And see, I can't wait to
Right.
talk to them about that.
See, I believe Dogman is real. I'm very interested in the topic, right? I personally believe Dogman is real. I would never in hell intentionally go out to meet one. I'm like, why? I know they're real, so I'm not going to go there. You know?
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
So
Like,
this
oh, there's
location
lions
is in-
over there? Go the opposite direction.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. This location is in Marthasville, Missouri.
Missouri.
And then tell us what website they can go to look up tickets or even your other events.
Yeah, so we have a lot of events this year. We have over 13 locations we're going to. We even have season and annual passes. So season passes are $500, you get 7 locations, and then annual passes are $1,000, and you get 13 locations. So you're saving $300 with the big one, you're saving $200 with the small one, and you get to go to any place you want. You pick. It's you pick, man. We kind of keep all our prices the same across the board. If you're choosing Arcadia, you get free dinner with that one. They have a huge cafe there, so that's free buffet. So hauntedsoulswithaz.com has all our events.
I just dropped the link.
Oh, that sounds pretty. That sounds. I've never heard of it like done like that before. So it's kind of like you can go on all these excursions, and it's kind of like a season pass.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're the
Sort of.
first one
Oh
off.
man, that's a cool idea. I never.
And then on
that's-
top of it,
I
you
never
get to
heard of
see
it.
Paranormal Paul at them. You get the
Yeah.
whole. You get Brandy. You get me. You get us all, man.
That
Yeah,
actually
and-
sounds. Is it like very spread out, like geographically, like around the states, or
Oh yeah.
Yes.
you probably have to
Oh, yeah.
fly out to some of these?
Well, our locations are all drivable. We're
okay.
doing Indiana, we're doing Iowa, we're doing Illinois, we're doing Missouri, and we're doing Indiana. So those are all drivable. We kind of keep it in that circumference. The goal of Haunted Souls is to become the largest,
Like a network.
Yes,
Yeah.
a network of people, and that's why we love that Paranormal
that's
Paul has joined us, and Krista and
too.
Brandy, because they also have outlets where we start to teach para-unity. We start to teach no drama. Like, hey, let's have a good time. We're all trying to find the truth. We're all trying to do the same thing. Like, let's support each other. Let's support the smaller.
And you're
podcast.
actually exploring with like an actual group in a professional setting with
Yes.
people who know what they're doing. Instead of a
100%.
bunch of schmoes who just go into the woods with like no clue on anything and then get
Right.
themselves in trouble. Now you have actual people like making
Yeah.
sure things go right.
And we have
So-
kits of equipment that you can use. So don't worry
Yeah.
about brand equipment. We
That's
have
the
it.
other
We give
thing.
it out.
Yeah.
We give it out for free, and we even have advanced equipment. So for $25, you can rent a body cam. So it's all IR. Just place it on your chest. You hit play.
Oh man.
It'll last 11 hours. And we've caught most of our stuff on our body
I
cams.
definitely rent that.
Yeah, it's really cool. So it's a cool ticket. We also have Airbnbs on there that are beautiful. Each unit sleeps 6 people. So
Are
both
the
locations.
Airbnbs haunted too?
The one at Emmaus is not. The one at Arcadia is the most haunted building. Is actually the priest house. Is where you stay there. It's actually the most active. When we did our pro night there, that was the most active place.
Man, this sounds really fun. I'm gonna have to look into this, man. I might want to join up with you guys.
Yeah, dude. Whenever you
Yeah.
come
Come on.
through,
You can
Just
move
don't
out here, Donnie.
don't
Just
get me eaten by no dog, man.
no, you'll be fine.
Please,
You're
I carry
the
a throw it.
appetizer.
What's
please.
cool too is like at these locations. So if Brandy's there and you want to go hunt with Brandy,
Yeah.
just ask her. Like she'll go with you wherever you want to go, or Paul, anybody will.
See,
So,
Tex said he was going to go ghost hunting with me, and he's like, "Oh, Donnie, I'm going to put you in the worst spots." And I'm like, "No, don't do that, Tex, please."
See, we would do that to you, Donnie.
You fly into Missouri, Donnie. We'll take care of you.
Okay.
Yeah, you can fly in. You can fly into St. Louis. You can fly into Kansas City. There's locations on each side.
Yeah.
There's you know.
That story you told earlier, Krista, tonight about like facing down that demon in that hallway. I was just thinking to myself that time. I was like, I don't want to do that. You know, they say don't show fear. I'll be showing lots of fear.
That one happened to be in Salina, Kansas.
Yeah.
And it wasn't in Missouri, and that was a private case. None of these locations have demons.
If I had felt it breathing on my
demons.
face like that, I would have been like, okay, I'm out. I'm waiting in the car.
Yeah.
We usually, if I'm around and I start hearing stuff go through like Ovulus or, you know, because I have some history, some language skills in Semitic languages. If I start hearing something that sounds a little off, or if I hear words like Legion, I pretty much shut it down at that point. I'm like, hey, I don't like the way this guy is talking right now.
Yeah.
Because evil
Shut the
spirits
door.
exist.
Yeah.
You know. As an asshole in life, you're an asshole in death. You got those guys.
Right.
Yep.
Demons,
Absolutely.
yeah, don't go looking because you'll find them.
And we're not looking for them. I don't want to deal with it. No, that's not what I want to do.
I'm not trying to get up. I'm not trying to get up on that demonic action when I go out to these expeditions.
No,
Hell
no, this is not. Yeah,
Hell no. Yeah.
no.
Remember, like Frankie said, you know, if you're good in life, you're good in death, you know, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So not every scratch is a demonic entity. Not,
Right.
you know, it's not like that.
Yeah.
Demons are real. They're very, very real. However, they're few and far between in normal hauntings.
Right.
Right. Well, all right, guys, we're almost at like, geez, 1:30. What? Hour and 37
1:30.
minutes now.
This is a fun show, guys. I didn't.
Fun.
It
yeah.
was. It was
Very
a lot of
informative.
fun.
Very informative.
Yes, but just
Thank you,
remember, we're
Frankie.
going to have more with Frankie on Friday, and we're bringing in Dan from Haunted Souls Paranormal, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And check us out on Blondesandboos tomorrow night at 8 p.m. I'm getting choked up already. I don't even want to. I don't even know why. Here we go. And then don't forget, tomorrow night we have Miguel. He's going to be on at 8 p.m. So don't miss that one. That one's going to be a good one. You know, he needs all this. He needs all the support and love too. So just show up and show your support for him too. So with that being said, we will see you next Wednesday. And good night, everybody. Push the button.
Right.
Pushing
Night.
the button.
Oh, it's Randy's turn tonight.
It's my turn every